This video has words starting with AP. Apostrophe, apostrophe in British, apostrophe in American. It is the punctuation mark used to indicate either possession. Example, Harry's book, boys' coats. If it is plural boys, it comes after the S. If it is singular Harry, it comes after the name. Sometimes it is used in the omission of letters or numbers. Can't apostrophe is used. He has, apostrophe S. Class of 1999 is written as apostrophe 99. What do you understand when I say the word apothecary? R is stressed. Carry. Here he is carrying something because he is a person who prepares and prepared and sold medicines and drugs. So he is carrying it, and he is the father. So he is like though it is written A-P-O-T-H-E, it is apothecary, and in British it is apothecary. The women needed to go to the apothecary in the village to get medicine for her son's illness. When I say the word apotheosis, it's like oasis. It's like oasis is in the desert you see something that is fertile or greenish. Similarly, the highest point in the development of something, culmination or climax. His appearance as Hamlet was the apotheosis of his career. It's basically the elevation of someone to divine status. It could be the quintessence or the ideal example. So, apotheosis is the perfect form or example of something. Apotheosis is when an individual is elevated to a godlike status, because gods are determined to be the most perfect form of existence imaginable. This was the time of the star's apotheosis. Okay, in British it is epo, O sound, and A sound. In the beginning A sound, and it is not A. Apotheosis. No, it is apotheosis. The word is APPAL, appall in American, and appall in British. It means appalling. Appalling is bad or dreadful, awful, terrible, atrocious, hopeless. Horrify-bankers are appalled at the economic incompetence of some officials. It's like offending, nauseating, distress or shock. His conduct was appalling, which means what? His behavior is appalling. At the end of World War II, the facts that emerged about the Nazi concentration camps and death camps appalled the entire world. The next word is apparatus in American and apparatus in British. 2 times A sound American and A sound is British. Apparatus American, apparatus is British. It is basically technical equipment or machinery needed for a particular activity or purpose. Laboratory apparatus. Or it is the structure or system, organization, the apparatus of government. Sometimes, very rarely, it is a collection of notes, variant readings, and other matter accompanying a printed text. Apparatus or apparatus. First one is American, second one is British. Example of this is the breathing apparatus required beyond this point in aeroplanes. They show you how to use the breathing apparatus. Do not enter without appropriate apparatus for breathing. Frederick Bastiat, a famous politician, has said people are beginning to realize that the apparatus of government is costly, but what they do not know is that the burden falls inevitably on them. The next word, apparel, is American, and Apparel is British. Apparel, British. Apparel is like appearing. Apparel is American. It is embroidered ornamentation on ecclesiastical vestments, or which means the one worn by the priests, or basically it is the clothing, garments, dress, attire, anything you can call. It is an archaic term. All the vestments in which they used to apparel their deities. The next word is apparent is American and apparent is British. Parent is sounding similar, so I go with apparent. It means clearly visible or understood, which is obvious. It became apparent that he was talented. The child nodded, apparently content with the promise. This means as far as one knows or can see, obviously. And when I say his apparent lack of concern, it is outwardly, seemingly real or true, but not necessarily. It is used by speakers or writers to avoid committing themselves to truth of what they are seeing. He met but apparently failed to make progress. Okay, this word apparition, which is same in British and American, apparition. After operation, what do you see is kind of a ghost, because apparition means a ghost or ghost-like image of a person, a wraith, or vision or hallucination. It could be appearance of something remarkable or unexpected, typically an image of this type. 20th century apparition of the Virgin Mary. This word is appeal in American or appeal in British. I go with appeal. When I say his mother made an appeal for the return of the ring, it is a serious or urgent request, typically one made to the public. Police are appealing for information. Ask urgently or earnestly. Make an urgent or earnest request, or call or make a plea. You're pleading. In law, it is an application to a higher court for a decision to be reversed. He has 28 days in which to lodge an appeal. He said he would appeal against the conviction. Apply to a higher court for a reversal of the decision of a lower court. Police are appealing for information about the incident, which means make a serious or urgent request, typically to the public. About a lost person, you're appealing for information. So it is an appeal for help. An appealing look means showing or expressing a desire for help or sympathy. Address oneself to a principle or quality in someone in anticipation of a favorable response. I appealed to his sense of justice. Or it is an attempt to obtain financial support and a public appeal to raise 5 lakh rupees. So in one sense of meaning, it is like an earnest request, or it is like in law. The second meaning is in law. You're appealing for the reversal of decision. These are the first two senses. The third sense is attractive. Even in basketball, of the team in the field call on the umpire to rule a strike or out of an completed play. Basically, you are asking the umpire for a decision. That is also you are appealing to. The last meaning is the quality of being attractive or interesting. Appealing, the popular appeal of football. Men found her trim figure and neat little face very appealing, very striking or desirable. The idea of traveling appealed to me. Very fascinated, tempted, interested. A look of appeal on his face. Be attractive or interesting. The range of topics will appeal to youngsters. Next word, appear, is American, and appear is British. Of a book be published. The paperback edition didn't appear for another 2 years. Often, accused person, witness, or lawyer make an official appearance in a court of law. He appeared on 6 charges of theft. The process of coming into existence or use, the appearance of the railroad. Act of performing or participating in a public event. He is well known for his television appearances. An act of becoming visible or noticeable, an arrival. Okay, the sudden appearance of her daughter startled her. Smoke appeared on the horizon. It has come into sight, become visible. Major life forms appeared on earth, come into existence. The symbol appears in many paintings of the period. Informally, it is arrive at a place. By 10 o'clock, Bill still hadn't appeared. It's like show up. It has appeared here, is like showing up. They appear to be completely devoted. Okay, give the impression of being. Her good appearance. I like the appearance of stripped antique pine, the way that someone or something looks. Rather than saying he acted in that movie, you can say he appeared in that movie, which means perform publicly in a movie, play, etc. A piece in American and a piece in British. You say please, please because you want to pacify them or to satisfy, relieve or satisfy a demand or a feeling. We give to charity because it appeases our guilt. An attempt to appease his crisis, which means to reconcile or pacify someone by acceding to their demands. Amendments have been added to appease local pressure groups. Sometimes we refuse to appease the aggression and brutality of evil men. So basically it is placating, which means making someone less angry or hostile. Okay, trying to placate my worried mom. We mean trying to pacify or trying to appease. You can also say appease one's thirst, which means to satisfy or relieve, or appeased the baby with the pacifier. There are 3 zodiac signs. I don't know who are they. Cannot control their anger, and what you have to do to appease them again is something you have to learn. So appease is basically make peace with. This was a clever attempt to appease the people, but it backfired. This baby is still crying, but we have given him all the toys a child could ask for. Nothing seems to appease him. A policy of appeasement is given by the government to appease the people. The next word is appellant, or in British it is appellant. Appellant sounds like repellent, right? You know what is appeal, okay? So, according to law, a person who applies to a higher court for a reversal of the decision of a lower court is called appellant. Okay, he has appealed, so his name is appellant, appealed appellant. And this appellant is appealing because he is the loser in the lower court and files a notice of appeal. And appellee is the winner in the lower court and has to respond to the appeal. So appellee is the winner and appellant is the loser in the lower court. Next word is append in American and append in British. It sounds like end, but it is adding something as an attachment or supplement or affix. The teacher may append comments to the final report. The results of the survey are appended to this chapter. Zoologically, it is an attachment which you can see in the animal. Many species have specialized touching appendages. So it is appendage in American and appendage in British. So extended won't have any commas. When it is appended, it will be nested. Like you can see clearly it is appended or added. What do you understand when I say appendicitis? It is like a side dish. You are appending a side dish. You are adding a side dish. No, it's not dish. It is this. Appendicitis. I have heard of this because it is a serious medical condition in which the appendix becomes inflamed and painful. Whereas appendix is in anatomy a tube-shaped sac attached to and opening into the lower end of the large intestine in humans and some other mammals. In humans, the appendix is small and has no known function, but in rabbits, hares, and some other herbivores, it is involved in the digestion of cellulose. So it is a section, it is also, other than anatomy, it is also a section or table of subsidiary matter at the end of a book or document. A list of such activities was published as an appendix to the report. So this organ is called appendix, and when it is damaged, it becomes appendicitis. Okay, it is sudden pain relief. Because indicating the rupture of appendix. Peak incidence occurs at 10 to 12 years, begins as dull, steady pain in that periumbilical area, progresses over 4 to 6 hours and localizes to right lower quadrant. So appendix is that organ and appendicitis is the inflammation of that organ. The next word is appertain, like ain, appertain in American and R silent, appertain in British. This sounds like certain to me. So this is the meaning of this is be relevant to or be appropriate or applicable to the institutional arrangements that appertain under the system, that is appropriate under the system. How do these articles appertain to the topic of our discussion? How are they relevant to our discussion or relate to our discussion? Relate to or concern is also a meaning of appertain. The answers generally appertain to improvements in standards of service. So basically it is to belong as a proper function or part of or relating to, be connected to. In US history class, students study information appertaining to the United States. The next word is appetite. Appetite, not appet, no, appetite. So it is a natural desire to satisfy a bodily need, especially for food. He has a healthy appetite. Not only for body related, a strong desire or liking for something itself can become appetite, an unquenchable appetite for life. It is basically a hunger or a craving or longing or your earning. There is something called risk appetite. Appetite denotes the amount or the percentage of risk an individual or an organization requires to bear to move ahead with its plan or objects. The main difference between hunger and appetite is hunger is the need to eat. Appetite is the desire to eat. Hunger is a physical need. Appetite is a sensory reaction to food. Hunger cannot be ignored. Appetite can be ignored. Hunger will cause physical discomfort and pain. Appetite doesn't cause pain and discomfort. Hunger, gurgling, rumbling or growling in stomach or dizziness, headaches, nausea, etc. signs of hunger. Salivating and contraction in the stomach muscles are typical of appetite. Next word is appetizer. Appetizer is a small dish of food or a drink taken before a meal or the main course of a meal to substitute one's appetite, it is also like amuse. Tonight's featured appetizer is a dish of grilled oysters and roasted mushrooms. So basically you eat it before having your main food. It's like a starter or the first course. The appetizing aroma of sizzling bacon. Basically it stimulates one's appetite. So it is mouth-watering or inviting or tempting. The next word is appalled, not O, more curvy, no. Your jaw is dropping down. Appalled in American and applaud in British. Basically it is clapping or giving a standing ovation. Appreciation or approval or praise expressed by clapping. They gave him a round of applause. The crowd applauded for him. It is like Jill applauded the decision, which means he's praising or shows strong approval of a person or action. The crowd whistled and applauded. Expressed respect for police have applauded the decision. The next word is up-alliance. Alliance, up-alliance. It is basically a tool, domestic appliance. Device, machine, instrument, utensil. A piece of equipment designed to perform a specific task, typically a domestic one. Electrical and gas appliances. In British, it is the action or process of bringing something into operation. The appliance of science could increase crop yields. Or it is an apparatus fitted by a surgeon or a dentist for corrective or therapeutic purpose. Do you remember when you have got that orthodontic, removable orthodontic appliance which you used to fix at night or during your daytime, inserted into or removed from the oral cavity by the patient's will? The next word is applicable in American and applicable in British. Applicable is something I prefer, it's applicable. Applicable is nothing but related or connected or suitable, appropriate. The same considerations are equally applicable to accident claims. This rule is not applicable in a house. This word is both applicant in British and English. Applicant. Applicant is either a person who makes a formal application for something, typically a job. It is sometimes, no, that is the only meaning, job seeker or job hunter, or auditioner or candidate or interviewee, competitor, contestant. The next word is application in both American and British. We all know what an application is. It is a formal request to an authority for something, an application for leave. So it is kind of a request or appeal, an application for a loan also. The second meaning is a medical substance put on the skin. It could be an ointment or lotion or cream, a smelly application to relieve muscle pain. The action of putting something on the surface, a fresh application of makeup. The action of putting something into operation is also called an application. The application of general rules to particular cases. When I say the job takes a great deal of patience and application, it means sustained effort or hard work. So it is here when you're applying or practicing, okay, it is called application. The application of official rules. The practical use or relevance, okay, could also be application. This principle has no application to the present case. In computer-related application, it is a program or software, a routine or vector graphics application, a database application. In computing, a program or piece of software designed and written to fulfill a particular purpose of the user. The next word is applicator in both American and British. Applicator. So it is either a device used for inserting something or for applying a substance to a surface. It is like mascara applicator, lipstick applicator, or it is a person who applies a substance or installs something such as house siding. The next word is applied in American and applied in British. This is nothing but apply in American and apply in British. Applying even pressure is like administer. The offer does not apply to unionized workers, which means be applicable or not relevant to. The oil industry has failed to apply appropriate standards of care, which means bring or put into operation or practical use. You need to apply to the local authorities for a grant, which means make a formal application or request. She had applied for a number of positions, which means put oneself forward formally as a candidate for a job. The sealer can be applied to the new wood, which means put or spread something on a surface. In some places you can see yan, a black \a, which means it is commonly called as not applicable, okay, which means this is not applicable to certain kind of people or not available. And this applied has a special thing in the subject or type of studies because There is something called applied chemistry, applied electronics, which comes in the post graduation in engineering, which is like put to practical use as opposed to being theoretical. The next three words are very related: appoint, appointee, and appointment. Appointer, I don't know. Appoint is assigning a job or role to someone. She has been appointed to the board. Or when I say they appointed a day in March for the meeting, they decided a time or a place. The arbitrator shall appoint a date for the meeting, which means choosing or arranging or deciding on. In law, it is to decide the proposal of property of which one is not the owner under powers granted by the owner. Trustees appoint the capital to the beneficiaries. And appointee is one to whom an estate is appointed or one who is appointed. Appointment is a job or position. She took up an appointment as head of communication, or it is his appointment as president, or it is an arrangement to meet someone at a particular time and place. She made an appointment with my receptionist. Do you know the furniture or fittings are also called appointments? What? The room was Spartan in its appointments. Whereas Spartan is showing or characterized by austerity or lack of comfort or luxury. The accommodation was fairly Spartan. So when I said the room was Spartan in its appointments, the room was not comfortable in its furniture. Like an officer who has interviewer who has more authority than the interviewee or the employee. Appointer has more authority because it is the person who has the power to appoint and remove the trustee. So appointer is one who nominates the appointee.